GTA bloody 6!
GTA 6!
We are just a few months away from the release of GTA 6, and everyone and their grandmas are hyped up about it, except for the publishers.
Game publishers are too scared to reveal release dates because of GTA 6.
Rockstar Games has taken by far the most amount of time they ever have to make GTA 6. On top of this, it is also the most expensive and the most highly anticipated game ever made. By all accounts, it should be a massive success that will help save the gaming industry and bring it to greater heights. But this is not the case.
The sad reality is that over the past few years, the gaming industry has suffered significant and unprecedented industry-wide layoffs. Those affect the games we get to play and, even more importantly, the people who make the games we love.
The gaming industry has been in the mud lately, and GTA 6 will be the final nail in the coffin. And in this video, I'll explain why. To understand how the game industry will collapse due to GTA 6, we first need to understand what's going on with the current AAA gaming industry as a whole. So first, let me ask you a question. When was the last time a AAA game release surprised you? Last year? Oh yeah, Black Myth Wukong by Game Science. Or maybe it was 2023. Yeah, that was with Baldur's Gate 3 by Larian Studios. Okay, so what about 2022? Yeah, that's FromSoft's Elden Ring. Alright, what about 2021? Oh, that's It Takes Two by Hazelight Studios. Maybe 2020. Oh yeah, Hades and Among Us. For 5 consecutive years, it's been nothing but games released by smaller studios. But wait, where the hell are Ubisoft, EA, and Blizzard? This is the state of the AAA gaming industry right now. Poorly optimized, poorly written.
I could kiss you right now. I'm going to kiss you right now.
And poorly made games are being canceled left and right. What's more, game studios are either being bought by Microsoft.
Microsoft announced today it will be buying the video game giant Activision Blizzard, $68 billion deal.
Or permanently shut down. One of the best examples of this is one we've all probably heard about, Concord. It was a game first being developed by a small company called Firewalk Studios. But after 8 years of development, Sony bought it for $400 million. They then pumped loads of money into the game, converting it from being developed by a small independent studio to massive AAA game. So what happened? After 2 weeks, the game flopped and Sony pulled the plug because no one was playing it. What's really sad about this is a game studio that was doing alright on their own was shut down after being absorbed by Sony. All of this indicates a bigger problem that the AAA and the entire gaming industry is facing. And it's not a good thing for everyone because of 3 major reasons. 1, creative ideas are being pushed aside in favor of predatory monetization practices in annual game releases, which dilute all efforts to release a half-decent game once every 3 to 4 years. 2, polished games are in short supply, forcing people to choose games that have the same recycled, outdated mechanics from 10 years ago, only with better graphics, more microtransactions, and incredibly frustrating optimization, which leads to 3, a destructive loop that obstructs creative freedom in video game development because all efforts are funneled into how they can extract more money from players instead of striving to release games with new ideas that haven't been done before. This approach allows game developers to release the same game over and over again with little to no adjustments. Only now, the title has a number 2 or 3 glued next to it. It's safe and it's been done before. It worked the first time, so why not do another one every year, right? Call of Duty, Battlefield, Assassin's Creed, NBA, Madden, the usual suspects. Well, that's the problem. If I played a game, say a space game, why would I play a game like Starfield if I've seen it done better in No Man's Sky or Mass Effect 2? Why would I play Horizon Forbidden West if Ghost of Tsushima was better in all ways? Why would I pay $40 to play Concord when Valorant is free? See the problem here? I think this speaks to a more brutal situation that we're in right now that most people don't realize. You might see the phrase AAA gaming is dead, and it's now more true than ever. People are flocking to indie titles, single player and free-to-play games that have more lifespan than most recent AAA games released. AAA gaming has become synonymous with playing a low-quality game, which is really ironic considering that just a few years ago, it was about releasing titles that were well-written and developed with love and creativity. AAA used to mean the gold standard in video game development, but it's just downhill for almost a decade now. What's more, at least 23,000 people have been laid off from their work over the last 2 years. And the drop in quality in video game development really shows its sign in more recent releases releases such as Starfield, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Battlefield 2042, Skull and Bones, and so much more. So AAA gaming is in the mud, but Rockstar is a AAA game studio too. Can we really trust them to deliver, especially when every other AAA game developer can't do it right? Well, right now it can really go two ways. One, it plays like Red Dead 2, and the open world is stacked with dynamic events, NPCs, and the environmental detail where you can go and do whatever you want. Or two, it can play like Star Wars Outlaws, and people talk like NPCs in Veilguard.
Plenty of ways to spend your coin here.
Of course, the latter scenario isn't likely to happen, but it's not impossible. I personally doubt Rockstar would fumble their bag after 11 years of development, but if there's one thing I can be sure of in terms of storytelling and gameplay, Rockstar Games has significantly improved in both directions over the years. When GTA 3 was released, it was a step forward in the direction of 3D storytelling and open world gameplay. It revolutionized how a living and breathing city would react to guns being fired at them. GTA 3 was the pioneer in open world game design, and it was released 24 years ago. Ambulances come and rescue people you killed while running over people who were previously healthy. Some people would start fights by simply looking at each other like in Pokemon. While it might feel basic given that the AI commands are limited, when I was a kid, it was probably the most realistic game at the time. Then GTA Vice City came out, and it polished the formula of GTA 3 by introducing new mechanics like not being able to swim because of sharks, and that stupid dumbass RC mission, which was designed by Satan himself. Sure, Tommy can't swim because of technical limitations. However, it wasn't new because it was also a feature in GTA 3. But to add a plausible reason why you can't swim is actually nice. And then GTA San Andreas was released, and it's probably one of the most influential games of all time. Not only can you be a fat CJ, but you can also gain more hair than what you started with. The fact that you can die from starvation while choosing your order is actually genius and hilarious. And now you can even swim. GTA San Andreas was also one of the most polished open world games back then. Diverse environments,
wanna learn some dirty Spanish?
Densely packed urban design, and even some RPG elements, like how your accuracy would improve the more you shoot a gun. And just the overall gangster vibe of the game really interested me. No game had done something like that yet with that level of detail. And it's no surprise it's the best-selling PS2 game to date. But just when you thought they couldn't top it off, GTA 4 came out, and it took all the good things about the previous titles so far and revolutionized how physics work in an open world setting. On top of that, it delivered a compelling story of Nico Bellic and how he tried so hard to get away from his criminal life by driving from one mission to another. In my opinion, this is the best GTA to date, including GTA 5. The storyline was just so emotional and gripping. GTA 5 did have its moments, but I just wasn't as emotionally attached. However, GTA 5 highlighted just what Rockstar could include in a game.
We forget 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure you subscribe?
And Red Dead 2 is like the perfect child between GTA 4 and GTA 5. It has the deep storyline of GTA 4.
And my daddy, I watched him die. And it weren't soon enough.
Combined with the grandeur of GTA 5. Red Dead 2 had it all. The characters felt like real people, the perfected formula from previous GTA games, along with thousands of hidden Easter eggs and cutscenes that feel like a blockbuster movie, neatly packaged into an incredibly gut-wrenching yet very satisfying storyline. This being Rockstar's most recent game and how much of a masterpiece it was only makes me more excited about GTA 6. And when you look at the sales, Rockstar has never missed. By all accounts, GTA 6 for all these reasons is set to be the biggest game of the 21st century. But while this will likely be a massive win for Rockstar, it will likely be a massive hit for the gaming industry. The main reason for this is the amount of players. What is the main way you judge a game's success? Well, you look at the amount of players who have played it. Right now, most AAA games are struggling to attract players, as I explained. But once GTA 6 drops, that will only get infinitely worse. Firstly, this is because GTA is a game that is so vast that it's hard to put in a box. What I mean by this is, what type of game would you call GTA 5? I would say it's a third-person shooter, but also it's an open world game with player versus player and player versus environment. There are also RPG elements to the game, and it wouldn't be a stretch to call it a legit racing game either. There's no game like GTA 5 apart from the other GTA titles, really. This is what makes it so unique. You see, most gamers typically stick to one or two genres of games that they like. So using myself as an example, I played a lot of FPS games growing up. First playing COD, then I started playing Battlefield, and then I started playing Overwatch. These are all FPS games, and I wouldn't stray too far from that genre. But GTA helped bridge that gap. There was so much to do while having somewhat similar mechanics to the FPS games I usually played, and so I was hooked. And for a lot of people, GTA is like this. Some of my friends pretty much only play FIFA, with the sole exception being that they play play GTA too. Some of my other friends mainly played racing games, but they also played GTA. GTA, especially GTA 5, has become a one-stop shop for so many different types of gamers. As mentioned, this is great for Rockstar, but for all other game developers, no matter what type of game you are developing, whether it's an RPG, FPS, a driving game, or loads of other types of games, they will lose a large amount of their player base once GTA 6 drops. Gamers only have limited time and money. If a large chunk of that pie is going to Rockstar, studios who are already struggling are going to be left with the scraps, and it could spell disaster, likely with many studios having to close down in a worst case scenario. What's worse, even now, look at GTA 5 and the current amount of players it has. On Steam, it currently is the 5th most played game over the last 30 days. Even more surprisingly, since 2016, the amount of players playing GTA 5 has steadily increased. And this is not just on PC. When we look at the most played games on PlayStation over the last 30 days, GTA 5 ranks 3rd. Keep in mind that GTA 5 was released on console in 2013. That was 12 years ago. Let that sink in. And now, GTA 6, the single most anticipated game ever, is going to be released. Rockstar, the company that never misses, has been working on it for almost a decade and spent more on it than any other game ever made. Some of the speculated things they will add include the GTA 6 map being twice as big as the GTA 5 map, 70% of the buildings being enterable, a whole new police system, improved NPC interactions, and way more. GTA 6 is not only going to dominate 2025, with games releasing in that year such as Ghost of Yotei, Doom, The Dark Ages, and Borderlands 4 having a very tough uphill battle, but I believe GTA 6 can go on to dominate for multiple years ahead. It's going to take so much for game companies to wrestle back players and get them off GTA 6 once it drops. It could lead to more acquisitions, games canceled, and more studios closing down, especially if Rockstar exceeds our expectations and delivers a quality game while AAA game studios are fumbling their bags. But it won't just kill the big AAA games. It could also prevent the growth of other good, smaller, innovative games too. To explain this, I'm going to use the example of Elden Ring. I was watching this Going Indie video, and they explained how Elden Ring massively overperformed. Why? Well, simply put, it was a really good game at a time when there were not many good games being released. Again, let's use myself as an example. I mainly play FPS games, as I said, and in 2022, I was looking at my options. The same old COD games, Overwatch 2 being an expansion rather than a fresh new game, and Battlefield 2042. Not much needs to be said about that game. My options were limited, to say the least. But then I saw this rising game that everyone was raving about, Elden Ring. So I decided to give it a shot, and 400 hours later, I can say confidently that it's a great game. But this was the first time that I'd ever properly played an RPG. What had made me try something new? Well, it was because all the typical FPS games that I usually played became stale and boring. And as Going Indie explained, it wasn't just me who experienced this. The lack of actual good games on the market had left a void that needed to be filled. People still wanted to play good video games, but because there were so few, many people branched out and tried a new type of game. This meant that I and many others were willing to try out a new game genre. If there were loads of good FPS games out at the time, I never would have given Elden Ring a chance. This is the second issue with GTA 6. The game is going to suck so many people's time and money that despite there likely being other good games that will come out, they will likely not get the success they deserve because everyone is too busy with GTA 6 to try anything new. This is especially bad for indie games, or games without a big franchise and history behind them that need word of mouth to get around. As a result, it is not only the other big gaming studios that are going to suffer with GTA 6 being released, but also the smaller studios, ruining the chance of new innovative games to break through the market. Again, this could spell further disaster, with even more studios having to close down regardless of whether they are big or small. Once GTA 6 drops, all the other gaming studios are going to be scrambling to attract the remaining gamers. It will be dog eats dog, and only a few studios will be able to survive. Anyways, if you made it this far, I want to say thank you. This is my first video on the channel, and I'm hoping to post more videos like this, covering interesting stories in the gaming industry. But if that interests you, then please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you in about a week or so with my next video.